The story begins when the city bell rings. It appears that the atmosphere in the city is very peaceful. A girl is observing the city from the window of her room, and the girl is thinking about what they will do today. It seems that there is someone sleeping there, and she calls out to Mahu-sama, saying she wants to eat clay dumplings with sauce. The girl wonders what Teto is dreaming about, and she calls out to Teto, telling her it's time to wake up. Teto is a girl, and she says that she is already awake and alert. It is mentioned that Teto used to be a golem, so perhaps she was forced to wake up to obey commands. Teto then puts on her clothes properly. The girl is a reincarnator, and Teto used to be a golem, and she thinks she will start by gathering information about this world. She remembers talking to a goddess named Lilio, a goddess from another world, who invited her here. The goddess said that all the girl needed to do was live her daily life as usual, and that alone would benefit her world. The girl had died, possibly due to illness, an accident, overwork, or old age. She couldn't remember how she died, nor whether she was previously male or female. The goddess then told the girl to enjoy their world fully, and this is a long story about how she was reincarnated into another world. The girl thinks about adventuring wherever she wants. Eventually, she settles down and builds a house she can live in, and she thinks about something, while drinking a warm cup of tea that morning, wondering what will happen next. One day, a girl is standing there, thinking that this is an isekai. She suddenly finds herself in an unknown place. She then notices that her body is that of a girl, and wonders if she was a girl in her previous life. She says it seems there are no monsters around here, so she will check her inventory. The inside of this bag is too big. Is it connected to another dimension or something? She then looks inside the bag and finds food, saying that's what she needs to survive. She remembers the skill she obtained that allows her to use magic, recalling the goddess's words before she arrived in this world. The girl asks if she will be reincarnated in her world, which the goddess confirms, and she will give her a skill to help the reincarnator survive as long as possible. Hearing that, she shouldn't hesitate to choose any skill she wants. She then understands what it means to have skill points. She can choose any skill she wants. The girl then decides on the skill she will take. In the end, she uses all her skill points to choose the creation magic skill. She then uses that skill and creates an item called the Fireball Staff. After successfully creating the item, the girl thinks she has used about 80% of her MP, seeing a slime there. She then tries to defeat the slime, but she freezes when about to attack. She then thinks of something and says Fireball, instantly launching a fire attack that burns the slime. After successfully defeating the slime, she realizes she needs to chant a spell to activate her magic. She learns something after a few days of using the Fireball Staff to level up. The girl continues to defeat slimes every day, realizing that the Fireball Staff is depleted after 3 uses, so it would be more efficient if she could kill them in one attack. Creation magic is useful but not very efficient, she thinks. Her level increases, and she thinks she only uses about half the MP needed to create the staff before. Still, she has been walking for 3 days and hasn't found a single village. The girl then decides to rest. The girl survives in the wild mostly thanks to creation magic, and she can create modern items like a tent. She needs to think of a new way to increase her MP capacity, but to create more, she needs a large amount of magic, and she wonders if she can create such an item. She then creates an apple using the creation skill, and says that this fruit is from a mysterious tree, an item from a certain RPG that increases overall magic capacity, and maybe this will work. The girl then eats the fruit, and she feels nauseous every time her MP reaches its lower limit. Creating the fruit consumes a lot of magic, and for now, she will limit herself to doing it once a day. For the time being, she wonders if this condition will disappear if she eats it, thinking that it doesn't restore her MP, but in tough times, the refreshing feeling of a fruit like a pear also feels good. As she thought, she can increase her maximum MP through methods other than leveling, but only by 1. She might get bored if she eats too much, so she will limit herself to 1 per day. If she continues to eat 1 per day every day for 5 years, her maximum MP capacity will increase by 21,900. And although she could become the strongest in the world by spending her life eating those fruits, she really doesn't want to do that. She will drink a mana potion she made for situations like this to restore her MP. Remembering the goddess's request for her to live long, what should she do now? 1 week later, there are several slime monsters there. The girl then defeats all the monsters. And finally, she reaches a level where physically hitting the monsters is more efficient. Still, having a childlike body is very troublesome. She thinks she is around 12 years old. But that doesn't mean her body won't grow. The girl then thinks about making proper equipment. What she needs is stronger equipment. The girl then creates a robe that is resistant to heat and cold, thinking that this is really chunibyo. It's a bit embarrassing to wear, but its abilities are quite good, and the staff should be stronger than the fireball staff too. Now she thinks about how to use magic other than creation magic, whether it works the same way as creation magic. She then chants the fireball spell, and is surprised to summon a small flame, but the flame instantly goes out. She says it will take a lot of practice to use magic properly. Knowing that the fireball staff is indeed very useful, she will make sure to practice regular magic too, because relying on the fireball staff makes her feel uneasy. She wonders if she can regain one of the other skills she could have chosen when she was reincarnated, becoming curious if she can create an item that allows her to gain a skill. She then creates a skill orb, and now she will use it, wondering if it will give her the fire magic skill. She feels very happy for choosing the creation magic skill, which she considers to be truly overpowered, and she plans to use it. She then says, "Fireball," and is surprised to succeed in doing so, thinking that the fireball staff always shoots the same fireball, but she might be able to adjust the fireball she shoots with her skill. Most likely, the more MP she uses, the stronger the fireball and the farther its range. She feels it's time for the fireball staff to retire, and thanks it. She then decides to practice magic. Getting the Jodo skill isn't a bad idea either. After that, she shoots fireballs at the landscape until sunset. While flying, she sees something there, thinking that it is a forest. Now the girl has primal magic and can use the fly spell, and flying in the air is indeed very practical. Primal magic is a skill formed from the combination of 6 magic elements. Thinking that she can fly freely once her skill level is a bit higher and she can walk faster, she feels like going to the forest. Making a temporary base would be pointless, so she thinks she should pack up for now. The girl then enters the tent. She has been living quite well in a place without food or water. She might have died if she couldn't create lunch and drinks like those sold at a convenience store. She then packs up and decides to go to the forest. Thinking that the forest is really far, she will set up camp here today and enter the forest tomorrow. The next day, upon entering the forest, she hopes not to encounter strong monsters. As soon as she says that, she finds a goblin. Thinking about what to do, she can't move carelessly here. The girl is surprised to see the goblin, with someone standing beneath it. She then quickly chants Stone Bullet and Wind Cutter, and instantly kills the goblin. And the girl only feels disgust, thinking that was close. She needs to be more careful. Wild animals will eat the goblin if she leaves it like that. She will create a barrier around herself using primal magic and realizes how careless she was. Since she is a mage and not a warrior, long-range supporters like her usually don't move alone in games. Anyway, she needs a good vanguard. This is the strongest golem core, which she can create with her current MP. The strength of the golem depends on their magic core and the materials used to create them, so she doesn't skimp on this. She then feels dizzy. She will light monster-repelling incense and sleep for today. And tomorrow she will start pouring MP into the golem core. The next day, it rains. She then recharges the golem core and wonders if she successfully filled it completely. She thinks about what to do since it's raining outside. She then remembers one thing, creating chocolate with creation. She happily eats the chocolate, thinking about what materials to use for the golem's body, maybe soil, stone, or iron. She plans to make the golem out of soil. Remembering that it's raining today, seeing that the soil is full of mud, but it's not as bad as she imagined. She will just start and drop the golem core into the muddy soil. The girl then creates the golem. After successfully creating it, she is surprised to see the golem, and the golem is small, thinking that the small golem looks weak, but she has no other choice. She then names the golem Teto, and says she's happy to meet her. They then shake hands, and the girl feels happy, While in the middle of the forest, she decides that today they will explore the forest and Teto will be the vanguard. But first, she will make a proper weapon for Teto. She then creates a sword and gives it to Teto, feeling happy about it. Teto immediately swings the sword a few times there, and now they are ready to go. They then fight goblins with Teto in front as the vanguard. Teto hits the goblin with her sword, and the girl attacks with Wind Cutter from behind. She then praises Teto for her hard work, but is surprised by what Teto does. The girl is puzzled and asks if Teto wants to give her something she found, seeing that it might be a goblin's magic stone. But the girl says Teto can do whatever she wants with the stone. She is then surprised to see Teto eat the stone. She can create magic stones with creation magic, but Teto then says goal, surprised to hear Teto say goal, and is happy that Teto can speak, while laughing with Teto. She then sheds tears without realizing it. Teto, seeing this, is puzzled. The girl thinks it's been a long time since she had someone to talk to. She then says it would be troublesome to take magic stones with a dull sword, so she will give Teto a knife. This makes Teto happy, and stores it inside her golem body, which surprises the girl. Thinking that inserting the knife into the golem's body, making the golem out of soil seems to have been the right choice. Seeing Teto quite dry there, the girl will pour some water on her so Teto doesn't dry out, thinking that a clay body also has its disadvantages. And she will also recharge Teto's MP. Thanks to Teto defeating so many monsters, they both become stronger, and she wonders if they can now try to fight stronger monsters. The girl is then surprised, seeing a cave there, and thinking that it's a dungeon. She then asks Teto what they should do. After seeing Teto's reaction, they decide to enter. While in the dungeon, Teto easily defeats some monsters, and the girl praises Teto for becoming stronger. She thinks this is like a game because the defeated monsters drop equipment and magic stones. Suddenly, a button is pressed, and the girl says that Teto stepped on something. Instantly, arrows appear and injure Teto, which surprises the girl when she sees it. She then approaches Teto and asks about her condition. Teto is then attacked again by the trap, but Teto doesn't feel pain. She then pulls the arrow out of her body and feels happy that the girl is worried about her. Although technically, Teto isn't a living being, so it doesn't affect her, and the first floor of the dungeon is no match for Teto's strength. They continue to conquer floor by floor, and finally reach what looks like the last floor. The girl says they've been through a lot. Teto's core cracks due to an attack from an orc wizard on the third floor. Teto stops moving because of it, and they are surrounded by enemies. The girl spends a lot of MP desperately trying to hold off all the orcs, and she is quite surprised to find that Teto's maximum MP has surpassed hers while she wasn't paying attention. The girl declares that they have truly become stronger now, which Teto responds to with a happy expression. They then arrive at the last floor and she misses the sunlight. The girl declares that they will defeat the boss and return, which Teto responds to enthusiastically. The girl feels that the monster golem is like Teto, but Teto shakes her head and feels unhappy. The monster golem then attacks, and the girl tells Teto to hold on. Teto then prepares with her shield and sword, while the girl stays behind, and with her current level, her fireball should be much stronger than before. The fireball attack is then launched at the monster golem, and successfully pierces the monster golem's body, and one of its arms is cut off. The monster golem then launches an attack. Teto with her shield prepares. She blocks the monster golem's attack. The girl tells Teto to retreat, and says they need to immobilize the monster golem. She then launches 3 fireball attacks at the monster golem's other arm and both legs, and the monster golem is finally immobilized. The girl says she has stopped its movement, but since the monster is a golem, it will regenerate. She asks Teto where its core is, which Teto answers by drawing on the ground that the core is in the center of the monster golem's body. The girl then cuts everything else, using wind cutter magic. She splits the monster golem's body and easily destroys it. After successfully doing so, she says Teto can enter. Seeing Teto still using the dull sword even though they found much better weapons while exploring the dungeon, Teto then looks at the girl, and Teto has found the monster golem's core. After taking the core out of the monster golem, the girl says Teto can eat it if she wants. Teto then eats the core and feels happy while eating it. After they declare that the dungeon is completed, suddenly something appears from behind the girl, and she guesses it's the dungeon's core. Teto becomes very excited upon seeing the dungeon core. The girl asks if Teto wants to eat it. Thinking it would attract attention if someone takes the dungeon core, it's better if Teto absorbs it. She says Teto can eat the dungeon core, wondering what the result will be, and seeing that it's not what she expected. But the girl is surprised to see a teleportation magic circle suddenly appear, and guesses that this will force them to teleport. They then teleport out of the dungeon. While in the middle of the forest, it appears that the girl is asleep. She then wakes up and wonders if she is outside and if Teto brought her out. The girl thinks back. What happened to the dungeon after Teto ate the dungeon core? Looking towards the dungeon entrance and wondering if the dungeon will disappear after they complete it. Thinking about Teto likely keeping watch, she plans to eat. She creates exclusive black tea with added milk. She says she never had the chance to sit back and relax after they entered the dungeon, and this is very enjoyable, suddenly hearing a rustling sound. The girl guesses that something is coming this way. She sees someone coming, and the person is surprised to see the girl. The person turns out to be a girl and says that Miss Witch is awake, and the person then hugs the girl, making the girl wonder why the person is naked. The girl asks who she really is, which is very surprising to the person. The person asks if Miss Witch can't guess who she is, which the girl then apologizes for. Thinking that she has never met anyone in this world, but is surprised to see the sword lying there. Remembering the sword she previously gave to Teto. After taking the sword back, the girl then remembers someone and says that the person is Teto, which Teto confirms with a happy smile.